You do not need to become someone that no one can judge. You are becoming someone who no longer abandons herself when judgment is possible. Today, I want to talk about what it means to be real and unfiltered. When we hear those words, we might imagine someone who says whatever she thinks. She shares everything that she feels, everything that comes to her mind, and she may not even care how her words impact another person. But being real and unfiltered does not mean that we don't have boundaries, that we don't have discernment, or no awareness of how our words can impact another human being. It actually means that we are no longer constantly editing ourselves in order to secure belonging. It also means that we are no longer performing a version of ourselves that we believe will be easier for others to approve of, accept, or even love. So, being real and unfiltered means that we allow ourselves to be human. We allow ourselves to be our true selves, even if that means we're being messy, if we're uncertain, we're being overly emotional, imperfect, having a bad day or a bad time. Maybe we're still growing and we're still trying to figure things out. And yet, for so many of us, being fully ourselves does not always feel safe. We may have learned early on, as most of us probably did, that certain parts of us were acceptable and other parts of us were not. Maybe we were acceptable to others when we were being agreeable, but not necessarily when we were upset or angry. Maybe when we were successful, but not overwhelmed or showing up as a hot mess. Maybe as being helpful, but not needy. Don't be too needy. Maybe calm, but not emotional. Independent, but not vulnerable. And maybe we received more approval from others whenever we were easy, compliant, agreeable, accomplished, accommodating. You get the idea. And so, without consciously deciding to do this, we began to develop a filter. Before we spoke, we asked ourselves, what will they think if I say this? Will this upset them? Will I sound foolish or ignorant, stupid even? Will they think that I'm being too emotional and too much? Will they still like me if I show up that way? Could this create a conflict? And then could I be rejected as a result of it? We learn to scan the room before deciding if we can share our true thoughts and our true feelings and our beliefs. We learned to read other people's moods before deciding how we feel or before even checking in with our own well being. And we learn to ask the question, who do I need to be for this person? Rather than, who am I? And this is how we began to lose ourselves in our relationships. Not necessarily through just one dramatic bad relationship, but through the act of self abandoning 100 times over and over, small moments of self abandonment. For example, we may laugh when something isn't funny. That's a self abandonment. We say yes when our body is saying no. We stay quiet when we feel upset or hurt by another individual. We pretend that we're fine because we don't want to be difficult. And we minimize what we need. We change our opinions depending on who we're speaking to. If we know that someone is being super political, we may decide to hold back our own views, our own beliefs, because we don't want to cause conflict or an argument. And we become who we believe the other person or other people want us to be. Sometimes we do this so automatically and so subconsciously that we don't even know that we're doing it. And it's not because we're weak or we're stupid or we're ignorant. It's often because some part of us learned at an early age, and it was so smart, this part of us, that being authentic would somehow could somehow threaten the connection with the other, that somehow it could end up disconnecting you from another person. The nervous system, your nervous system, my nervous system, may interpret judgment, criticism, disappointment, or rejection as being quote unquote danger. And when belonging, our sense of belonging feels threatened or in jeopardy, the protective parts of us just step in. And so that's why they're so smart and so wise. So the people pleaser part of us will say, just keep them happy at all costs. And our perfectionist parts will say, don't give them anything to criticize. Be hyper vigilant and be perfect. Our inner controllers might say, manage this situation at all costs so that nothing goes wrong. And of course, our fearful, wounded part of us says, please do not leave me. Don't leave me alone. These parts of us, or these masks, are not trying to imprison us, they're trying to protect. But here is the problem: the protection comes with a cost. When we continuously filter ourselves to maintain connection with other people, we gradually lose connection with ourselves. We might be surrounded by people all the time and still feel super lonely. We may be loved and still wonder, would they love me if they really knew all the parts of me? We may be praised, we may be accepted, but the acceptance does not fully land within us because some part of us knows, some part of us is afraid that we are being accepted for the version of ourselves that we have presented and put forth. And that is what the prison is. So the opposite, the paradise, right? We go from prison to paradise. And the paradise is not necessarily a life where then everyone does approve of us. It's not about becoming so polished, so confident, so attractive, successful, emotionally evolved that no one can judge you. There is no version of us that no one will judge because not one single one of us is perfect. The paradise is becoming someone who is willing to remain connected to herself when judgment is possible. someone who can say, this is what I feel. This is what I need. This is what I believe. This is what is true for me in this moment. This may disappoint you, but I will not abandon myself. Now, that does not mean that authenticity will always feel comfortable or easy. In fact, in the beginning, it will be the complete opposite. And being real and taking off your masks can and will activate fear within you. I promise you that. And so then sometimes that old urge to explain, over explain, to soften, to apologize, to take back what we said will still come up to the surface. It just does. And so sometimes we feel the discomfort of knowing that another person does not agree with us. They may not like us in that moment. They may not understand us or get us. And freedom, true freedom, is not the absence of that discomfort. Freedom is having the capacity to stay with yourself through it. It is being able to notice that there is the fear of being judged. You say to yourself, I am afraid right now in this moment of being judged. And there's a part of me that wants to perform, to please. There is the impulse to make myself smaller. There's an impulse to want to shrink. And then instead of judging those parts or being hard on yourself or making yourself wrong for showing up that way, you can meet those parts with compassion and tenderness and grace. And you can quietly say to those parts of you, I understand why you're afraid. You learned that fitting in kept you safe. You learned that pleasing people protected your relationships. But now I'm here with you, and you no longer need to put on the masks. You do not have to disappear in order to belong. This is where authenticity begins. This is being your true self. Not with forcing yourself to reveal everything or suddenly go and confront every person that rubs you the wrong way. It begins with awareness. It begins by noticing the moments when you leave yourself. And it begins by feeling the difference between an authentic yes and a fearful yes. And then we just start practice returning to ourselves one moment at a time, one boundary at a time, one moment of allowing yourself to be seen, one moment of refusing to apologize for just having a thought or a feeling or a need or an opinion. The willingness to be real and unfiltered is not the willingness to be fearless. It is the willingness to feel the fear, feel it, and stay with yourself. This is the third step of my 5-step power pathway, which is called the willingness to feel in order to heal. This is where the nitty gritty work takes place, where real transformation starts to happen. And we cannot heal the fear of judgment by just arranging our lives so that the judgment never happens or avoiding being judged by others. We heal by learning that we can feel the discomfort of being seen or misunderstood, disagreed with, even rejected, and we still remain whole. We learn that we can survive another person's disappointment without making ourselves wrong. And I know that that sounds really, really hard, but it is possible. And we learn that we can remain loving to others without betraying ourselves. And we learn that the deepest belonging is within us. It begins within. So today's meditation is an opportunity to notice where you may be filtering, where you may be performing, or leaving yourself. And to offer those parts, those protective parts of you, a new experience, an experience of being seen without being judged. And to offer that part of you an experience of being felt without being fixed. And an experience of belonging to yourself exactly as you are. I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And begin to arrive in this moment, feeling your body settling in. Just noticing if there's any part of you that wants to let go a little. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose, filling your belly, filling the chest. Slowly releasing, letting go, letting go. Taking in another deep breath, filling your chest, filling your lungs, and slowly letting it go, let it out, let it go. Taking another deep, long breath in through the nose, filling your lungs, filling the belly. Let it out slowly, letting go and letting go. And now just resume your normal and natural breathing. No need to force your breath. Allowing it to do what it naturally does. And then adjusting your posture so that you're alert and upright. Feeling your feet on the ground. Softening the eyes. Smoothing out the brow. Softening all the tiny micro muscles in your face. Unclenching your jaw. Bringing your awareness to the sensations in your mouth, your tongue, your gums, Just noticing the aliveness in those areas. Letting go of any tightness or tension in the muscles in the back of your neck. And while your awareness is scanning your body, see if you can simultaneously be aware of your breath. Can you hold the container for both the breath and your body? Feeling your shoulders from the inside out. And just allowing the shoulders to soften. Letting go, letting go. Noticing there's tightness or tension in the muscles of your upper back, and releasing. Scanning down to the muscles in your middle back and your lower back, allowing the muscles to release and let go. Noticing the length and the volume of your arms. Feeling the weight of your arms by your side. Allowing your hands to rest comfortably, softly and loosely, either in your lap or by your side. Notice if your mind has wandered, and if so, gently bring your awareness back to this moment. Noticing the quality of presence. Being right here, right now. Continuing to bring your awareness to your hips and your pelvic area, letting go of any tightness or tension. And continuing to remain alert and in an upright position. Notice the length and the volume of your legs. Feeling the hamstrings, the quads, your calf muscles. Noticing the feeling of your feet contacting the floor. feeling the pressure beneath your feet. And noticing your feet from the inside out. Can you sense tingling, vibration, heat? And notice this whole body breathing. Breathing into the cells, the tissues, all the organs. Feeling the presence of your whole body from the inside out. Sensing the space around your body. The space between your fingers. Sensing the space in the room that you're in. Can you feel and sense the spaciousness? Feeling the space beyond the walls of the room. Feeling the spaciousness of the sky, the trees, the grass. Buildings. Can you feel a connection to that space? The space and the energy that's in the trees, the sky, flowers, the dirt, grass. The energy that makes up all of those is the same energy that makes you. It's all connected. And again, if you notice that your mind has begun to wander, just slowly bring yourself back to this moment. There's nowhere you need to be. There's nothing that you need to accomplish. There's no one that you need to impress. No version of yourself you need to become. And for this next moment, you are simply invited to be here, exactly as you are. And to help bring you back to the moment, notice your breathing and its natural rhythm. Notice your body being supported. It's the chair beneath you, the floor beneath you, the surface holding the weight of your body. Just let yourself be held. Just noticing your breath. the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the movement of your belly, air entering and leaving your nostrils. There's no right or wrong way to do this. There's no perfect way to meditate. You're simply noticing what is already happening. Bringing your awareness to your face. Notice if there's tension around your eyes, soften the eyes, your forehead, your jaw. See whether you can soften just a little. You don't have to look a certain way. Allow your face that's beneath the masks to just rest. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the tongue. And now bringing your awareness to your throat area. This is the area of our body that allows us to speak, to express, ask, or tell the truth. Just simply notice what is present. There may be openness. There could be tightness. And there may be very little sensation at all. You don't need to change or force anything. You can just simply offer the words. It is safe to notice what is true for me. And then bringing your awareness to the center of your chest. Notice what is here. Perhaps there is ease. Maybe it's sadness, fear, tenderness. Maybe there's pressure or longing. You don't have to name or know exactly what's there, or to even explain why it's here. Just allow yourself to feel whatever is present without filtering it. And if it feels comfortable, you can place one hand over your heart and simply say, "This too belongs." And as you continue breathing, bring to mind a recent moment when you did not feel completely free to be yourself. You can choose something small and manageable. Maybe you agreed with someone when you really wanted to disagree. Or you said yes when you wanted to say no. Perhaps you pretended to be fine, or held back an opinion, a feeling, a need, a truth. And it's not necessary to replay the entire situation. Just notice yourself in the moment. What do you sense in your body? Do you feel tightness? Maybe there's pressure in your chest, a knot in your stomach. Maybe you sense an urge to disappear, to fix, to please or explain. And now see whether you can recognize the protective part of you that's present. The part of you that believed filtering yourself was going to keep you safe. You might imagine this part as a younger version of you. Or you may simply notice it as presence in your body. And then you can silently say, I see why you are afraid. You were trying to protect our connection. You believed that we had to hide in order to belong. And then see if you can sense or notice what happens when this part of you is met with understanding and compassion instead of judgment. And there's nothing to force, there's nothing to fix. You're just simply allowing this part of you to be seen. And now you can imagine your adult self moving closer to this protective part. And you can just simply let her know, I'm here with you right now. You do not have to manage everyone's perceptions of us. You do not have to make us perfect. You do not have to shrink. And if you have your hand over your heart, see if you can feel the warmth and the steadiness of your own touch. And perhaps make it gentle and soft so that it feels tender. And you can say to yourself, I will not abandon you when someone disagrees with us. I will not abandon you when someone misunderstands us or is disappointed. I will stay. And allow those words to just settle into your body. Now you can imagine yourself in that same situation that you called to mind a few moments ago. But this time, you don't have to perform. You don't have to say anything dramatic. You just simply imagine staying connected to yourself. And perhaps you can say to another person, you imagine yourself saying, I need time to think about that, or that doesn't feel right for me in this moment. You could imagine yourself saying, this is what I need, or no, I'd rather not. Let the words form quietly within you. And notice what feelings arise when you imagine expressing your truth. Do you sense relief? Maybe there's still some fear. Two things can be true at once. But you don't have to eliminate the fear before choosing yourself. You can be willing to feel the discomfort of being real. You can feel the discomfort without leaving yourself. Now, just allowing that situation to gently fade. Return your attention to your body. Feel the natural movement of your breath. There's no need to rush, no need to force. And as we come to a close, you can reflect on this one question. Where in your life are you being invited to stop performing and begin belonging to yourself? And let's take one more deep breath in together through the nose. Slowly let it out. Begin to wiggle your toes, your fingers. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes.